Oh, welcome back to the shop. This is part 2. I've got some interesting comments on how to go about dealing with this. I'll get to that in a little bit, but anyway, I'm gonna work on cleaning this up a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm gonna go in terms of polishing it. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna do a little bit of work and see how things turn out. But I am gonna make a concerted effort to like finish cleaning up some of the indiscretions that you see here, and they do look really good when they're painted. So anyway, that's probably going to be the way I go, but I am going to try to make an effort to smooth all this out. So. Now this is obviously cast, but when I was reading about it, it said malleable iron or something like that. And these are pretty deep. I'm gonna just, again, you guys are probably gonna rip me in the comments, but I'm gonna try hitting this with the welder real quick and see if it doesn't fill that gap in. Because that's pretty deep. It's just got really deep gouges in here, and I want to get this cleaned up. So anyway. That seemed to lay down in there pretty good. I think that's a legit repair. I'm gonna put a couple more small welds on the deeper ones. A little bit better. Alright, so thank you for everyone who commented on part 1. In particular, I think it was Steve had mentioned that through the garage journal and whatnot, they talked about removing the C-clip, and in all likelihood it would be destroyed. So then the question is, if it gets destroyed, can you replace it? And the answer to that for me simply is no. I have a box of different C-clips, the regular retaining clips, and then also a couple different sizes of the E-clips. And while one of these might fit on there, and might fit on there nicely, I mean, in terms of taking out slack, I might actually do that. But what it's not going to do is have the stability, the thickness to keep this from shearing off and pushing right out. I've seen vices that actually are designed to pull apart. I actually broke this Irwin vise like day one trying to, I don't know, I was trying to separate a hydraulic cylinder or something, and anyway it ended up breaking, shearing this exact C-clip off like day one, hour one, and I ended up pounding it back into place, and I've been just babying it along ever since. But anyway, this clip here is maybe, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch, 32nd of an inch, something like that. And this is 3/16 of an inch, maybe. Alright, 1/8 of an inch. Still pretty beefy. As opposed to, geez, I don't even know what that is. A 32nd of an inch. So anyway, the stability that this adds, I think, is not worth. It's not worth screwing with. I can always finish the project, leave it as it were, and then later on, when I'm older and wiser, I'll come back to it if I have a better solution, so I'm going to try not to be impetuous and just jump right into this and tear it apart. So now I think what I'm going to do is move on to straightening this handle, and then taping, and then priming. Alright, so I was off camera there for a little bit, goofing around, and I started to paint this, and I realized that I'd gotten ahead of myself, and there was a lot more to polish out of this thing. And so anyway, I sort of hit it with some self-etching primer, and then quickly came back in here and sort of undid everything that I had started to do. And you know, I might go back and forth a couple more times before I really decide what I want, but I think this thing looks good when it's sort of polished out like this. I just might keep going. We will just have to wait and see what the hell happens at the end of this video, because I obviously can't make my mind up. Anyway, I'm having fun with it today. This is a neat little project. I'm not a detail-oriented guy. There's like all sorts of little things that I probably need to get to first. But anyway, this is sort of therapeutic for me. It gives me some time to think about some other stuff I got going on. Nothing critical or anything, but you know, just stuff. So anyway, I'm going to keep tinkering along with this, back and forth. A lot of time lapse here, and right now, I'm thinking it's going to stay polished and screw the paint. But we'll see what happens. Alright, now I've got the jaws wire wheeled. I'm going to see if I can't maybe reestablish these grooves a little bit and take some of the beading out of this. Let's see how that goes. Alright, so this has 1/4 bolts that come through and hold the the replaceable jaws in, and they're just completely chowdered. So the closest thing I have is these old flathead 1/4 bolts, but the OD is too large, and I could either punch a hole in here or I could take the outside of this down a little bit. I think it would be easier to take the outside of this down. This would be a great project for a small lathe, which I don't have, but I do have a cordless drill and a sander, so let me see if I can do one and see how that works. Alright, so that's a little bit more promising. What I'm going to have to do, and I'll do this off camera, is I got to keep beveling the head down so that it looks more like these, but preserve as much of the thread as possible so that I can... Damn bench is magnetic. So that I can preserve as much of the thread as I can. Alright, so I was able to make the bolts for the jaws. As I was talking about how cap head screws wouldn't work, they still wouldn't because of the hard shoulder. However, I did happen to have cap head bolts that were quite a bit shorter, and would cut out the process of me having to shorten these other bolts. So I went ahead and used cap head bolts and did the same process. Just I actually took them over to the sander with the 8-inch side wheel on it and chucked it and cut the inside, the back out of it, like a chamfer, and then fine-tuned it on the file. And I got it down to just a little bit above the surface of the jaw here, and then I just hit it with the axe file to clean that up. Now I've got the top of this to contend with. It's pretty smooth. Everything looks pretty good, except for these jaws. are chowdered. Now, one of my reservations about painting it was I wouldn't have a means of coming back and smoothing this up, really blending that together to make it unified, because I did remove some meat trying to get these jaws cleaned up. So in the interest of having this thing just as smooth as can be, I mean uniform, now because I didn't paint it, I have the option to come back and hit this puppy with the flappy paddle. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think it's going to look pretty good. I know, and you know, I partially agree with the guys that are going to bitch about me doing this, grinding it down and polishing it and doing all this other bullshit. You know, like I said in some other videos, I'm just goofing around out here in the shop, having fun. This Vise isn't an heirloom to me. Somebody didn't have a problem parting with it for $20 on eBay. Hell, I almost paid more in shipping than I did for the Vise. So, and it's not about not the value and whatnot, and it being cheap, therefore I can ruin it. I'm not making that argument. What I'm saying is that it's a tool. I'm going to use it. It looked like shit. This is an exercise in me practicing different means and methods, techniques to restoring tools, making them look good, and you know, that's what I'm doing. So, anyway. Alright, so this is going to conclude the Columbian Cleveland Vise. You can see the jaws are a little bit different color here. That's the Perma Blue. I don't know much about the bluing processes. I just tried to follow the instructions. If I would have done it a couple more times, it would have turned out darker. Honestly, I wanted to wait, and I might do that later on, but I'm going to wait and get some gloves. That stuff's supposed to be pretty nasty. So, anyway, but for now, I think it looks real good. I'm happy with the way the finish turned out. There's a lot of little details where a pencil grinder or a Dremel tool or something could have got in here and really fine-tuned these. But you know, for what it was and what it is now, I think it's an improvement. And how much of an improvement is debatable. But I'm happy with it. It's my tool. I eventually just came to the realization that, you know, painting it would look fine, but I would look at this thing and always wonder what the hell it would look like if I just left it bare metal. And, you know, why leave anything to doubt? I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And if I want to change my mind later on and paint it, you know, it's just going to be a chore getting the paste wax off of it, but I think I can do that chemically. But anyway, I'm happy with the Vise. I think it's going to serve me well. It was a fun build. I appreciate you for watching, commenting. If you haven't already and you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. And I've got some upcoming videos, and I might as well mention it here. I did give serious thought to shellacking this, and I've got some liquid shellac too in a can. And I did a test video. This is going to come out probably a couple minutes after this video comes out. But I put a new handle on this old Blue Point. It says 40 on there. I don't know if that's 40 ounces. 40. Anyway, it's a heavy hammer. But I shellacked it. I love the way it looks. It really looks good. But because I don't know anything about shellac, I'm not sure how the durability is going to hold it. Is it going to flake off? What's it going to do? That's why I put it on a hammer. This thing gets used all the time. So it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. So anyway, I did actively think about shellacking this, and I would have liked the look on it. The color is great, but the durability is what's in question now. I can always come back and do it later. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and for you guys and girls that commented, thank you very much. Have a good day.